Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Nitro Racing League here on the channel. Today we go racing in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A very fun track to race at least in league racing compared to single player. So I was excited to get going for this one. This is actually the track where I got my second ever Nitro Racing League victory back a couple years ago. So hoping that we can maybe do that again here today as we would qualify in the 6th position here for the Brickyard 400 race. The 24 of Connor was on the pole along with his teammate of Andrew Wisdom in 2nd place. Then we had Christian in 3rd, Jonathan 4th, RJ 5th, and myself here in P6 now as we come through out of turn 1 side by side with the 42 car as we go down into turn 2. So being on the outside, a bit of a disadvantage here as we come through the center of the corner. There's Jay is right on my left rear quarter panel as we already got a car on the outside wall there of the 38 of RJ. So he hits the wall. We gained a spot out of that, but Jay was able to get past me down this back straightaway now as the 20 of Matt O'Brien as well is going to be able to attempt to pass me into turn 3 there as we make a little bit of contact. I came down on him a little bit there on the entrance of turn 3. I just kind of misjudged it and unfortunately got into him as we came through now on the exit of 4. So we go down 2 positions on this opening lap here in Indianapolis. So definitely some ground to make up here. As you can see, stage 1 is 24 laps. This race for some reason felt extremely long compared to normal Nitro races there as we get to the inside now of Matt on lap 3 as I kind of squeezed myself in there, got into the left rear tire of his, and we make sure we get down this back straightaway side by side trying to take over that 7th position here on lap 3. But you can see right there in front of us the front 6 drivers had driven away, so unfortunately Matt was actually struggling quite a bit in this race. Not sure exactly why. Myself and him, we both ran in the same preset setup, which was preset number 3. And so just unfortunate for him there as I make a mistake out of turn 4 though. I hit the outside wall, finally clearing Matt. Well, I completely throw it away and let him go, and then the 48 of Tyler as well is going to go through. So we're down to P9, and as you guys know, only the top 5 get points in stages now as RJ is going to go through on the inside as well. So we now drop down into the 10th position now as we would fight back though to the inside of him. The 88 of Edward, he actually won the last race here in the Nitro Racing League, but he actually legged out of this race very early on like lap 1. So he was out already now as we would get up the inside, like I said, of RJ and into turn 2 now on lap 5. We would make the pass, then we would run down this next group of cars of Tyler as well as Jay as we came through turn 1. So Jay had fallen off a little bit compared to Matt. So now he was getting passed by the 48 of Tyler, and then I myself go up the inside of Jay here, and we're going to take over the 8th position in an attempt to climb our way back forwards here. And we would all run down the 20 of Matt again here with the 48 of Tyler, and they get a little bit together there on the exit of the corner. I decide, you know what, we're going to try and force it 3 wide here as we go down this front straightaway. Now it's only going to be 2 wide there as you see Matt kind of falls back a little bit. So P7 as he's going to hang on our right rear here with 15 laps to go now in this first stage, but he gets in behind into the corner. So then we would get right back to the 48 as he actually got to the outside wall there on the exit of turn 2. And we would now take over P6, and it really did not take much to hit the outside wall, it felt like, here in Indianapolis. Just one little mistake and you were going into that wall. There's I get into the wall on the exit of turn 4, but now on lap 13 we had some drivers coming into the pit lane. So we passed the 42, we also passed the 41, and there you see the 19 of Jonathan coming into the pit lane as well now on lap 14, and we were getting ready, of course, to come in as well as Matt had already made his pit stop. That's why he was ahead of us. So we come through now on lap 15, and I brake way too late, so I actually have to stay out of the pit lane. So we have to go back another time around the course here before we can come into the pit lane. So we would actually brake a lot earlier this time. I knew by the way I braked coming in on the original attempt that I just wasn't going to get down to pace speed or pit speed. So we just kind of went with it, and we came in though for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires. I knew I was going to give up a lot of time because of my mistake right there, and sure enough it would show as we would get past there. You see by the 9 of Andrew, who had still not actually come in to make his pit stop yet, but the 42 would go by, and we were down now in the 9th position again. Now there as you see the cars behind coming up to the back of us now, but we would be able to stay in front of them now as we would also pass the 24 who had just come onto the pit lane now as we came through trying to run down this group of cars that we passed earlier. Then Andrew actually would come into the pit lane now on lap 18 or lap 19 for him as we would now unlap ourselves now as it was a pretty clean race so far here in this first and opening stage. Now as we came through to just 5 laps to go in stage 1, I get up the inside of Jay, and as we go down towards turns 4 we're going to also try to get up the inside of Tyler, but can't quite make it happen. There's actually getting to the back of him, then Jay gets into the back of me as we exit turn 4, and then I look to the inside here hoping that we can make something work, and sure enough down into turn 1 P1 now on lap 21. We would get up the inside of Tyler and clear him for P5. So currently holding on to 1 stage point. We would run down the 42 here and try to close in and get another extra point here in stage 1 as we were approaching just 2 laps to go. So sure enough, into turn 1 on lap 23, we passed the 42. Now take over 4th place, but you can see a clear track ahead. No chance we were running down anybody else, so we came through to start the final lap now of stage 1. Andrew Wisdom out front at this point here in the race now as we come through in the final moments of this first stage here in Indianapolis. So we would come through to cross the line in P4, so 2 stage points for us here in the first and opening stage of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now, as there you see, the 42 gets the last stage point, and then we had Andrew, of course, with 5 points. Then we got Connor with 4, and then Jonathan with 3, and then myself with 2. So now we would come into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, as well as 4 tires, and get ready to go green from the 4th position here for the second stage. Andrew and Jonathan on that front row now as the green flag is back out here in Indianapolis, and we are underway, and it's just a few laps shorter than that first stage. So I was actually surprised by this because this race, like I said, felt so long for some reason compared to all the other races we've been doing in the Nitro League. There was a little bit of contact between the 19 and the 9, so now I look to the inside of the 19 as we dive down into turn 2 there, as Jonathan is going to have the run on the exit of the corner to actually probably clear me. Yes, he does clear me, as it looks like Andrew either hit the wall or got loose maybe, and now he's going to fall down to P3 as I'm going to look to the outside of him, trying to carry the momentum side by side and maybe even clear him there, as there was something happened with the 24 and the 19 as well, and we might clear the 24. No, I go a little bit wide there and through out on the exit of turn 3. The 24 is actually going to be able to power ahead, and so is the 9 of Andrew as we come through now on the exit of turn 4. So back down into 4th place we go, and we had an opportunity there for a second to get into that second position. Now as we get in behind the 9 of Andrew Wisdom as we come through to complete this first and opening lap of the second stage. So we kind of just settle out here for a moment in P4, so we come through down the back straightaway. Now Andrew putting the attack to his teammate of Connor, making a very easy pass there into turn 3 through the center of the corner. Now Jay tried to get to the back of me, and he would stick with me now as Andrew would get up the inside of Jonathan now on lap 3 as I go way too deep into turn 1. Just a simple error from myself, and that opens the door for Jay to get up my inside, who's having a very solid run here today in Indianapolis. Now as we're going to be side by side though on the exit of turn 2, now as the 9 and the 19 continue to battle side by side for the lead. They would make contact there. The 19 goes into the outside wall as they continue to beat and bang. They were getting very aggressive with each other, and you're going to notice a trend between them two throughout the rest of this episode now as we dive down into turn 4 now, as the 95 gets into the 19 now as well as we come through out of the corner. So we're down to P5 now, trying to put the attack on Jonathan here as the 24 of Connor now leads this race as Andrew's in 2nd, Jay 3rd, Jonathan 4th, and now I'm going to drop down to P6 behind the 42 here as we dive down into turn 1. Certainly can see the draft was making a difference, but the draft was still on the low setting here in this race. I still think we need to turn the draft up at most tracks. Now as the 41 had a leg spike there, and then we kind of make contact, and unfortunately Jay was on the receiving end of that. As you can see him going crazy now as we come through down the back straightaway. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but we keep everything going in the right direction now as we come through. This is only on the opening laps of lap 4 of the stage. So a lot of just good racing, intense racing going on here to start this thing off. I would have thought we were already past the halfway point after all this action now, as there you see Tyler in the 48 gets up my inside as well as we dive down into turn 1 as I kind of turned down into him there. That was all on me. And then we would actually hold on to 5th though. We would lose some ground to the cars up ahead. We come through though straight to lap 12, and there you see 3 cars actually come into the pit lane. So we know move into 2nd behind Andrew Wisdom, and then sure enough on the exit now of turn 4 on lap 13, I decide to come into the pit lane, but I brake way too late, and we're actually going to go speeding into the pit line by like 30 miles per hour. So now I'm forced into a position where I need to take 2 tires and then serve the penalty, because if we would have taken 4 tires, we would have been probably like a 30-second pit stop, and I cannot risk staying a lap down going into that 3rd and final stage. We have completely thrown away everything unless we get a caution here now in stage 2. So as this stage kind of developed, we would actually have a huge leg spike in the server develop in the middle of the stage, and you can see the cars up ahead just going wild. So that would become an issue, but I had 2 tires, everybody outside 4, so there was no chance of me running these guys down. So I was in a pretty safe zone right here. I didn't have a chance to get to them, so I didn't really have to worry about the leg. But you're going to see just how crazy it got. As you can see the cars going absolutely everywhere up there in front of us now as we come through to the final moments of the stage. Then the 95 of Jay, that's not him crashing, that's just leg. He goes up in the sky. Then the 38 of RJ, he lags back forward, but the leg would cause an incident for the 38 of RJ now, as he would actually get wrecked by Jay's car lagging, and there you see that one was actually him wrecking, and then there he was behind us now in the middle of 3 and 4, so he was in the back in 14th, and I was down here in 13th now, as the 14 car was actually out in front now as we were coming through to 2 laps to go in the second stage. Now as it came through, now he would actually lose the lead though to the 19 of Jonathan as we were approaching the final lap of the stage. Lag was still a huge issue right to the very final moments of this second stage, as you're seeing in front of us there, as the 14 I believe actually ran out of fuel, and then he would lose of course a bunch of positions. So we were now into P10 after everything had cycled out, and we come through down the front straightaway for the final time. Jonathan wins stage 2, and we're going to come through to cross the line of P10, which means no stage points for us because, as you guys know, only the top 5 gets points in the Nitro Racing League. So very unfortunate, or I should say, the top 5 only get stage points in the Nitro Racing League. But like I said, unfortunate, all on me there with the speeding penalty. But fortunately, this caution break right here would actually fix the server lag issue, so we would be able to get back going for this third and final stage without having to worry about a bunch of lag destroying all of us. So we get ready to go green now for the third and final stage. Definitely not the race we've been looking for so far now, but we are back underway now for stage 3. The main ones to watch so far have definitely been the 19, the 9, as well as the 24. They've been very fast, so hopefully we can kind of get up there and maybe mix it up with them here before this race is over. Now, as you see, Jay is going to get down in line right away, as I think I got into the outside there of MJ. I had a bit of a habit being on the outside lane, and I just kind of kept turning in on people. Unfortunately, now as we come through out of turn 2, side by side with the 95 of Jay, our affiliate teammate, as we try to pull ahead of him as we go down this back straightaway. There you see up ahead in 7th place, Christian in the 41 now, as I think he's locked in the playoffs. I think he might have won a race this season. I can't remember though. As we come through turn 3 though, Jay is actually going to get clear. Matt just behind us there, and now P10 as I hit the outside wall and actually bounced off the wall in front of Matt. I kind of felt bad about that because it just kind of bounced me right in front of that 20 car. There was contact between the 95 and the 42. That was only a 1-car incident, so no caution, and we go straight through the middle and get up into P7. Now we would look to the inside of the 34 as we dive down into turn 1, and he would just let me go. Big thanks to him. So we would take over now the 6th position and then run down this next group of cars. So I felt a lot better in this third and final stage, and I think it was showing. I don't know what it was that changed, but it just, something felt better for me there, and I was definitely driving a lot better. I felt like now to get up the inside of the 41 of Christian as we dive down through turn 3. So now Andrew out in front, as it was still the 19 and the 24 behind him. I get it now the inside of the 48 of Tyler as we come through to 24 laps to go. So not a whole lot of racing to go, probably about the length of stage 1 as well, just barely longer than stage 2. So there was a little bit of contact there you saw with the 48 of Tyler, but that was no harm done. So we come through now to 23 laps to go. Now the 24 of Connor is going to pass the 19 of Jonathan. So I get up the inside of Jonathan, trying to pounce on the opportunity to maybe pass both of these guys and see if we have anything at all for Andrew Wisdom there. In that 9 car, a little bit of contact with the 24 as we come through side by side with the 19 of Jonathan. The 48, thankfully, is going to stick with me instead of forcing it 3 wide. So I was very happy about that because I was scared he was going to try and go up our inside now. As we would continue though in this side by side battle with Jonathan, and Jonathan was not going to give up without a fight now, as unfortunately both of us were completely costing each other so much time, but he fortunately will get clear of us now on lap 59 as we come through turn 4, so we would settle in here in that 4th position. But then I make a mistake, leave the door open for the 48 of Tyler. There was a little bit of contact there. I hit the outside wall, and now as we go down this back straightaway, we're going to lose the position to the 41 as well as the 38, or 34, sorry. So we drop down now to P7 now, as that was really not on Tyler there between that contact. That was a little bit just a racing situation. And then the 42 now on lap 61, he goes up the inside, but he actually decides to back out there instead of trying to force it 3 wide into turn 3. So we stay here in P7 as we dive down into the corner. So trying to take over that 6th position from the 34, and sure enough, as we dive down towards turn 4, we are going to take over P6 now as we try to close in once again on the back of Christian. Now just 19 laps to go in Indianapolis as I look to the inside of that Stuart Haas Racing Ford Mustang as we come through the center of turn 1, trying to get clear of them if it could before turn 2, but nope, we're going to have to still be side by side now. As you see up ahead, Andrew Wisdom still leading this race, but the caution would actually come out as we came through out of turn 2 due to an incident behind us, so we were all catching up, and we had to come into the pit lane. I could not actually find out what exactly happened, never saw what happened, but everybody came into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, as well as 4 tires, and there you see, we come out P4, so we come up for the choose cone. I choose the top there. You saw at the last moment, I got really confused, didn't know what to do, but we start on the outside. Not a very good launch for myself. This was the first manual restart, you could call it, of the day. We were very even with the 48, though. We didn't lose or gain anything to him, so even with him, but of course it wasn't a good launch for myself. So we come through side by side with that 42 as we go down this little short stretch to turn 2, trying to make this outside work as we come through the center of the corner. Andrew in the 19 in P1 and P2. You see the 24 nowhere to be found right now as we go down this back stretch there. As you see the 41 might slip in behind the 48 of Tyler. Now I'm going to just kind of stay put right behind them as we're still side by side with the 42 down into turn 3. Now go a little bit wide again. There's a little bit of contact between them 3 as we get into the back of the 42. I get to the outside wall there. That was all on me. Just a simple error here as we come through the center of now turn 4. MJ gets up the inside of us in that 43 car, running that all-star paint scheme he is today here as we go down this front stretch there. As you see the 34 now up the inside of the 42, and we would settle in behind them both. And then the 42 and the 41, they go up the track now. The 34 makes it 3 wide with them as we go down toward turn 2. Now they settle out. I get up the inside of the 41, and now we try to take over P6 from Christian. Very successful at that there through the center of the corner. Now as we were approaching lap 69 at this point, so we come through to lap 69. Nice. Now up the inside of the 42, and we now take over P5. So now we try to pounce on the 34 again with 10 laps to go. Only 10 to go in this race, and now we get up the inside of the 34, and it was actually the 19 of Jonathan leading at this point. As I get into the 34, I apologize right away. I said I'm so sorry about that. That was all on me, but he really didn't put the blame on me for that one, so I appreciated that. But actually, the reason Andrew lost the lead was he got put in the wall by the 19, so he was down in P3, stuck behind his teammate of the 48, trying to run Jonathan back down. But we only had 6 laps to go at this point, and the 48 was really holding up the 9 at this point in the run, and I was running both of them down here. I was trying to get up into the mix. Now as we go for a big slide there on the exit of turn 4, save the car now as we go down this front straightaway. So we come through now on lap 76, and as soon as we cross the line for 76, the caution comes out here in Indianapolis, and if we would have made it one more lap, the caution cutoff would have came into effect where there could be no more cautions here, so we guarantee a green flag finish. So this would force a 2-lap dash for the finish of this race here in Indianapolis. So we were coming out in P4 for the restart, so no change for us now. As you see, there was a bit of a calamity there on the exit of the pit lane, but that's how it would settle out there. It was a bit of a mess, but we come through to the choose cone. I give a lot of room trying to see what's going to happen. There you see, I decide to choose the bottom instead of the top. The 41 chooses the top, and I was actually telling Christian in the party chat, I said, be ready here, because Jonathan, Andrew, and the 48, they just all weren't really getting along with each other now at this point, just because they were racing each other this whole race, and they were having certainly some heated moments, and we were prepared for that here on this final restart now as we come through, heading down toward turn 2 on this final restart of the day. Now Jay up there behind us into P5, and I settle in here in P4. I was trying my best to stay up the inside of Jonathan, because I felt like if I could have stayed up the inside of him, we might have had a chance. Now as I've kind of accepted at this point, we're not going to win this race now as we go down this back straightaway, but Andrew gets up the inside of the 48 of his teammate of Tyler into turn 3. Now the 19 of Jonathan actually gets into the back of Andrew, punts him into the corner. He's going to force a 3 wide on the exit of turn 3. Now as I throw a big block behind on Christian now as we go down into turn 4. I saw him coming. I defend the move now as we come through on the exit of the corner. So now Jonathan to P1 as we settle in right behind that 9 cars. Now the 19 is going to block the 9 all the way down to the inside. Well, fair play on that one now as they're both going to scrap it out here as we come through to start the final lap in Indianapolis. Now as the 9 and the 19 come together into turn 1, and the 48 gets involved and leaves the door open for us, and all of a sudden we come through out of turn 1. We're going to go through to the lead here on the final lap of Indianapolis now as the 41 got into Jay there and put him into the wall, and now we're up here into the first position down the back straightaway. I cannot believe what just happened here as you see behind the 41 trying to run us down. He's side by side with Andrew Wisdom as we dive down into turn 3. All we have to do is just bring it home and get a successful 2 corners, or a clean 2 corners, and turn 3 is clean. Now just one more corner to go as we come through turn 4 for the final time, and somehow we didn't lead a single lap this whole race. They got together in front of us coming through on the final lap into turn 1, and now we're going to come through to get win number 3 on the season there as Christian closes, but it's not enough. We win in Indianapolis. what a final lap here in Indianapolis. I did not expect to come out of this one with the victory. You know, I felt like we had speed capable of contending, but it just didn't work out throughout the whole race. But obviously, in the end, we were somehow able to pull it off. So very happy about that, of course. I'm finally going to show you guys the current point standings of the Nitro Racing League. We're closing in towards the playoffs, only like 6 regular season races left. There you see it on the screen. You actually see me down in P10 there, as we haven't had the greatest season overall. I mean, we finished 14th, we had a 5th, then we won, then we had a 16th. We've missed a couple races, but we've had some bad luck where we've had speed, but we've just gotten bad finishes. Of course, there's been some incidents that shouldn't have happened that we got caught up in. So, but we've put together 2 top 10s in a row, and that's only the second time we've done that this season, surprisingly. But there you see Andrew leads the points, and you look at Andrew, first in the points, 1 win, compared to myself, 10th in the points, and we have 3 wins. Of course, we are locked in the playoffs and whatnot because of the 3 wins we have. Tyler has 2 wins. Jonathan has 2 wins, and what surprises me the most is we have the most wins this season. When I feel like, honestly, in terms of just raw speed, we should only probably have 1 win this season, and that was at Homestead, Miami, and we actually did not win that race. So it's certainly a bit of a surprise, but things have worked out well for us here this season, and obviously not to the caliber of last season where we won, I think, like 10 races or something like that, 9 or 10, if I remember correctly. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. And also, you see the red there on Jay's name. I actually have absolutely no idea what that means. I'll have to get some clarification on that. But that will do it for this episode of the Nitro Racing League. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have yourselves a great day, everybody.